Has your tongue ever felt like it was burning even though nothing had actually happened? Like you scalded it on hot coffee, but you didn't. There's no sores, no swelling, no visible irritation, but you still feel it clearly. Now, if this sounds familiar, you may be experiencing one of the most overlooked neurological symptoms of menopause. And here's where it gets even more unsettling for many women. Because you feel it, but everything looks normal, right? Your dental exams are clear. There's no visible irritation, no obvious cause. But when there's no visible evidence, the doubt typically begins, right? Is this stress? Is it anxiety? Am I just imagining this? And that uncertainty is often more distressing than the symptom itself. Well, this symptom is called burning mouth syndrome, and during menopause, it can appear without warning or explanation. I'm Tafiq Akhir, Mr. Menopause here, your go-to source for reliable menopause and healthy aging support, and welcome to the Menopause Made Simple show. Now, in this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into burning mouth syndrome, which is one of the lesser discussed symptoms outlined in my book, Decoding the 80 Symptoms and Side Effects of Menopause. Now, maybe it's been described as burning, maybe even tingling or numbness, or even rawness on your tongue or lips. Now, here's what I need you to understand first, because menopause is not just a hormonal shift. It's a neurological and systemic transition, and burning mouth syndrome sits right at that intersection. See, estrogen plays a direct role in nerve function throughout your entire body, including the nerves that send sensations from your mouth to your brain. When your estrogen fluctuates or declines, well, nerve sensitivity increases. Signals that once felt neutral can now register as more intense, causing normal sensations to feel more amplified. At the same time, menopause can reduce your saliva production. And saliva protects the tissues in your mouth and keeps them all balanced. When that protective moisture decreases, your tissues become more vulnerable to irritation. So what you're experiencing, it's not damage. It's nerve sensitivity combined with reduced protective buffering. That's why nothing looks wrong on the surface. The tissue is functional, not structural. And that distinction really does matter because invisible symptoms are frequently labeled as psychological, but nerve-driven symptoms are physical, even when they can't be seen. You know, one of my clients has stopped drinking coffee entirely because she was convinced that she had permanently damaged her tongue. Her dental exams were normal though. Her lab work was normal, but she had no explanation for what was really going on. But when I shared with her that perimenopause and menopause can actually heighten nerve sensitivity as an effect of the hormonal fluctuations, well, I could literally see a shift in her body and her mind. It was like the best aha moment happening right in front of me. Now, of course, the sensations didn't vanish overnight, but the fear did decrease. And she later shared that when that fear was gone, the intensity of her symptoms felt a lot softer. And that's because understanding reduced the threat response, and that changed the entire experience for her. And that's exactly what I want for you. Now, another layer worth understanding here is that during menopause, certain nutritional deficiencies can become more noticeable as well, including B vitamins, iron, and zinc. And this matters because these nutrients directly support nerve health. So when your levels are low, nerve sensitivity can increase. Now, this doesn't mean something drastic is happening, right? It just means that your body's margin for tolerance is more narrow than it used to be. See, menopause reduces the buffer, and things that once went unnoticed now register more loudly. And without explanation, discomfort becomes anxiety, anxiety increases stress, and stress amplifies nerve sensitivity. So the cycle begins. But here's the important thing. See, once you understand the cycle, you can start to interrupt it. Now, here's what you can do. First, you want to start simple. Stay well hydrated because dry tissue intensifies irritation. Consistent hydration matters more than you think. Now, I know it sounds basic and that you've heard it before, but here's what you may not have heard. Up to 40% of adults between the ages of 40 and 60 are chronically dehydrated. So make sure that you're not in that percentile. Next, consider avoiding common irritants for a while. Things like spicy foods, acidic foods, alcohol, and very hot beverages can aggravate already sensitive tissue. And it's also worth switching to gentler oral care products as well, because strongly flavored toothpaste or alcohol-based mouthwash can increase irritation in ways that might not connect to the symptom. And most importantly, pay attention to patterns. Does it get worse at certain times of day? Maybe when you're stressed or when you're fatigued. See, patterns give you power. They provide insight without creating more worry. And if your symptoms persist or significantly affect your quality of life, please speak with your healthcare provider. Not because menopause can't explain it, but because responsible care includes ruling out all other contributors. I call this calm advocacy. And calm advocacy is not alarm, it's self-respect. Now, burning mouth syndrome sits at the intersection of hormonal change, nerve sensitivity, and stress. And this is exactly why menopause must be understood as a whole body transition. Not just hot flashes and not just cycle changes, but in fact, neurological, metabolic, and systemic changes that all happen at the same time. And when you understand that bigger picture, isolated symptoms stop feeling so random and they start making sense. And when things start making sense, the fear starts to lift. Now, burning mouth syndrome is number 26 in my book, Decoding the 80 Symptoms and Side Effects of Menopause. And if you want a deeper, structured understanding of what's happening in your body, you can actually start with the first 2 chapters of the book completely free. The link is below. Now, if you want a detailed explanation of how and why these sensations occur, along with specific guidance on what to do and when to seek additional support, that's outlined clearly in the book. And if this experience raised a few questions for you, the next episode looks at another surprising symptom of menopause that many women never realize is connected, so be sure to tune in next week, because menopause is not a collection of random problems. It's a pattern, and this show exists to help you see those patterns clearly so that nothing happening in your body ever feels like a mystery again. Once you understand what's happening, you stop fearing it. And when fear decreases, clarity increases.